I said the wrong thing first. Let me show you.
Hello, hello, hello. Oh, my voice cracked.
David's Eryc. 0 following, 0 followers. You didn't know about this?
No.
Yeah, and literally it's nothing. So yeah, I think maybe you were creating a shell account or something, or you forgot you created an account. Okay, yeah. Because I was like, wait, this has 0, so I was like, this isn't the page.
That's my Instagram.
Excuse me.
My Instagram handle. Well, not handle. My Instagram profile.
Gotcha.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
So today is Monday, November 14th.
Right? Yeah.
November 14th. I don't know why this day is sticking out in my head. 11/14.
Maybe it's somebody's birthday.
Yeah, possibly. And I'm joined by the best, James Lamar.
The King James version.
The King James version. All morning upward. I hope I'm not speaking in the school song.
James Lamar.
James Lamar. We are coming from an amazing weekend.
Yes.
Bess came up to visit, and it's been an awesome experience.
Awesome. Oh wow, totally freaked me out. I mean, right on. Charles, sure, our number 1.
Isn't that what? Bring it on.
Yes, it is. One of my favorites.
Classic.
Yes, it was a great weekend, and I was just telling him how I appreciated all of his hospitality.
Thank y'all.
And I appreciated being around in Clarksville. You know, last year he came and he was living in Clarksville, but he had a group of his close friends, and he decided we should stay in Nashville so that we can get a taste of Nashville.
Yeah, the big city.
Yeah, the big city, the big tourist, place. But this time I was able to experience where he lives, where now he's from, and
Where I reside.
where he resides and stuff like that. So it was a different experience. Plus, I was in a different space last year than I am this year as well. So that's also why that also curated a new experience. Yeah.
And I'm super excited.
And we're about to go to a vegan restaurant in Nashville.
100% plant-based.
I do leave today, so sometime in the late afternoon I will be taken to the airport. So this is the end, but
It wraps up our trip, but it's never the end.
yeah, and I should see him in a few weeks actually, which will be great.
I can't wait. But no, it has been awesome. And I feel like it happened organically for it to be Clarksville. That wasn't the plan. That wasn't the plan.
It did, but remember I told you, I said, I understand we want to have an itinerary and stuff like that, and we did somewhat in relation to certain things. We knew the movie theater was locked in.
Yes.
Going to see Wakanda Forever was locked in. So
which
that was
amazing.
Awesome.
Amazing experience,
film.
amazing movie.
And then we knew we were going to eat. Other than that, we had some ideas, and we said, okay, well, if it works, I was going off of the notion that if it works with whatever we're doing, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And some of those ideas did not come to fruition, but that's okay because the ideas that did in the spur of the moment, they were just as gratifying, I feel.
If not more. But I'm even saying the original plan was not to be in Clarksville. We had already got a hotel in Nashville. Right. James had already booked the hotel.
Exactly.
And then life happens. I moved.
Which was actually the better case scenario. We both saved coin. Let's be very clear about that. We both saved coin.
Not even that, just that. At least you also got to experience my home.
I did. I got to see your daughter. I didn't get to see the other 3, but I'm sure that'll happen soon. Not that I haven't met them before, but it's been a while. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah,
it was cool seeing him charge his car. Like, it's my first time in the electric whip. And and it's a different experience.
It is. But I am happy
a different
that
experience.
You were able to see my house, though. I think that was very important.
Me too. And honestly, that actually ended up being like the best case scenario, because it's like I actually got to stay in your home. Like, it wasn't a hotel, it wasn't an Airbnb, it wasn't, oh, we got to check out by 11 a.m. and a lot of them are doing 10 a.m. nowadays. You know, so that was like nice in itself. I got to be in the house, you know, I got to be on the couch, I got to,
as you've done for me many times.
I appreciate it. And I had a handcrafted herbal remedy made, because I ended up feeling under the weather, and honestly, I don't equate it to traveling. I don't equate it to the difference of weather between Florida and Tennessee. I actually equate it to, I started to feel an itch in my throat Friday as I was getting ready to go to the airport. So I said, like, I was just like, I already knew what was up. I wasn't claiming it, but you know, needless to say, you know, I did start to feel unwell, and I was grateful for the herbal remedy. You know, I definitely feel like it helped. Unfortunately, we weren't able to make it earlier today, but that's okay. I'm sure he'll give me the recipe if I want to make it by myself.
I definitely would recommend, especially because you liked it. So
it was delicious.
You're the first person, even out of myself, like even the lady when the vegan lady that I was just talking to me about the other day or last night, I think. That's where I originally got it from. And then once I started following Queen Afua and saw that she did it as well, I was like, okay, this is solidified.
Yeah, it's like, it's a thing.
Yeah. But outside of Queen Afua, nobody else did. Everybody's like, child, that's the worst part of the cleanse. That I
don't understand. Like, I liked it.
I had to get used to it. It
actually tasted good to me.
I had to get used to it.
It didn't take me no getting used to. Immediately, I liked it.
But I also think where you are on your journey and where I was on my journey, tasting it for the first time,
and that makes sense.
Plays a difference.
And that makes sense.
Wow,
that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. And bitch, she got some sickening photos of me. Barely see it, but I love the photos. I got a lot of love for the photos.
I'll add them somewhere here. Like, I'll add them to the video.
Okay, cool. And then we got pictures together at his house, which came out great. His mom and his sister loved it, based out of social media, which he's rarely on. And if he is on, he's still not on. You won't know that he's on.
I do want to start using it for good.
But before you finish that statement, I do want to make it clear that the fact that you really haven't been on social media is already a good thing in itself, because you were already somewhat disconnected from that aspect of the matrix, because social media is its own matrix in itself.
Its own entity, it is.
It really is. So the fact, like, I take my breaks and I take my months off, or I take my week off, such as during this raw vegan challenge that we just did recently and stuff like that. Like, it's necessary. It's necessary to take those breaks. But the fact that you really haven't even been active on it for years now, that's actually a good thing, Eryc. Like, so I was thinking about that, this weekend or whatever. Like, I'm like, that's actually a good thing that you haven't really been on it like that. To a certain degree.
I do think that it has its benefits, right?
Yeah.
It has its benefits, and telling a story and getting a message across. And when I do
promote my business, or my soon-to-be business, excuse me.
When I do tap into it fully again, I wanna tap into the benefits.
And the tap into the benefits, right? And then I feel like when you do tap into it again, it will be in alignment with wherever you are now as well, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. It will be more aligned with that, which is how I feel like mine has become, you know, over time. Because it's like, the more your mind changes, the more whatever you share and stuff like that changes as well.
Speaking of, so I don't know if, we may have had this conversation, but Shirley actually created an entirely different, separate page.
Okay.
So where she only follows inspirational pages. She's very intentional about things that are just feeding into her. So when she is maybe even going down the rabbit hole, it's nothing but positivity.
Exactly.
It's literally nothing but like she only follows things that resonate and align with her.
Remember I was talking to you about how I recently got back on Twitter after almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And the types of accounts that I follow now, they're mainly positive. I do follow a few individuals right now, but I'm not pressed to follow individuals who, no shade to them, who aren't really talking about anything that like really is piquing my interest or whatever, so on and so forth. I do show love back, so I will follow people back, but will I feel inclined to maybe retweet some of those people? Maybe not. There are some other people, individuals that I've started to follow who are very much so on their spiritual journey, you know, intuitive, are working on things, stuff like that, that it's very inspiring, it's very uplifting, and that's what I curated my IG to be as well. Like, at some point in time, I believe it was 2020, when I feel like I really started to hone in on my spiritual journey. Granted, again, there were still lessons and things that I had to learn over time, and things that I had to experience and get through. But nonetheless, I do feel as though the latter part, not even the latter part, but I think mid-2020 is when I really started to say, let's do some work, let's do some inner work, let's focus on ourselves. And I started to go to hashtags on IG and follow certain hashtags. Like, I think one of the hashtags that I follow was 1111, another hashtag spirituality, another hashtag, you know, positivity, stuff like that. And it changed my whole timeline up. So it's kind of like I started following the pages that would list some of those hashtags or whatever as well. And so that's why, like, now I have, it's close to 7,500. It's been, and I've had to actually unfollow people and stuff like that, because eventually I started to follow so many different accounts. And keep in mind, before this, it was all like celebrity news and the shade room and the neighborhood talk, and, you know, celebrity accounts themselves. And don't get me wrong, I still like my dose of celebrity news and celebrities or whatever. But girl, I don't follow the shade room. I don't follow the neighborhood talk. And that's not to say that I can't, like, if there's something that actually is entertaining, if they shouting out Brandy or something, like, that's not to say I can't go and like the post, or that's not saying that I can't type it in and go to it. But yeah, it doesn't have to feed me. I don't need it to show up in my timeline.
Right.
I don't need it to show up in my feed anymore. Excuse me.
Power of choice.
I don't need it to show up in my feed anymore.
Power of choice.
I love what G. Bryant had said. He was like, I be on social media, but limited. And then he was like, and I post what resonates with me, and I post like my stuff and promote my stuff and whatever. He was like, other than that, like, I don't really be knowing what be going on. And he was like, I don't want to know, and I don't want to know. Don't keep me in the know. Like, he said something like, don't keep me informed. I'm good. And I admire that, and I respect that, and I was already feeling that way. I was already on that wavelength. Like, it doesn't matter if everybody's posting about corrupt government, and I'm not saying that it's not necessary to know these things.
Yeah.
Corrupt government.
What is it doing?
What Krishan and Blueface, and I don't even know these people. I know of Blueface, but I was like, who is this Krishan person? And Just that kind of stuff. Like, I don't need to know about that, because I don't care. like to a certain degree. Like I don't care. And even if there's certain stuff that I do need to care about, that I do need to concern myself with, I can go look for it specifically. I can go on ABC News's Instagram account and maybe find what I need to find about, whatever the latest hurricane, or what policy that they approved against LGBT people, whatever. Like I can go and Google it either as well. But it does not need to be shared by me. It does not need to be a part of my platform. It does not need to be posted on my stories. It does not need to be posted as a post on my account.
Right.
I am here to promote self-love. I am here to promote positivity. I am here to promote becoming the best version of yourself. I am here to promote good music. I am here to promote R&B still to this day. I am here to promote me stepping into the best season of my life. I am here to promote that type of stuff, showing people and showing by example of how you can improve yourself and in what ways that you can do that, and what's the after result of that. I want to be that example. I desire to be that example for people, because I want them to see that you can do it too. Anybody can do it.
Yeah.
You just have to want it for yourself, and you have to actually act on it. You have to actually pursue it. You have to actually put in the work. It won't be handed to you.
It's not gonna come in your lap.
No, it won't be handed to you. It won't be spoon-fed to you. Are you willing to do what it takes to actually become that version of yourself that you know that you can be? But right now you might feel like, how do I start? Where do I get started? Where do I go from here?
Which leads me to a question.
Yes.
So, do you feel that you and I would have started or be on a spiritual journey had I not moved?
Those are questions that it's like, in a way, you'll never know the answer to.
We won't.
In a way, you'll never know the answer to. I can't say yes or no. I can't say yes or no to that, because the thing is, there could have been circumstances and different things that happened while you still lived in Florida that could have led me to, that I could have still stumbled across really going deep and diving deep into spirituality.
Right.
And then there's a scenario of what we know that actually happened, of you moving away and me diving deep into my spirituality.
Right.
So, it's hard for me to answer that. It's hard for me to answer that. But I do feel as though it helped. It helped because we were definitely very much into the nightlife, and it's not like we went out all the time. It wasn't like that, but
no.
We very much were into the nightlife, and kind of just getting together. Bitch, let's get drunk. let's come over. Let's pop a pill. Let's get high, which you rarely did at that point because you were too paranoid of it.
But popping pills is get high. So
Well, true.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and that was our norm. So it's like,
right.
It wasn't like we thought we were doing anything bad. We were like chilling to ourselves.
I think that's what I'm saying though.
Okay.
So I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I do agree, like, again, you'll never know, because here we are. We're
right.
on this journey that we're on. One of the things, and we may have had this conversation before, but one of the things that I've realized was that I had to move.
And you've stated that before. You've stated that before.
And when I sit and reflect on all of that, it further confirms and to a certain degree explains that feeling that I had when we came up here for Jeremy's sister's birthday in June, the end of June. And looking at the house and having the conversations with the people that we had the conversations with. Like and me having this feeling like this is the right decision. I know you're gonna leave this and da da da. It was an easy decision to make. As hard as it was, it was an easy decision to make. And I do think because that was our norm, it would have taken us longer to get to where we want to be. Because I think about, for me at least, like I think about the trajectory of my life. I think about the weed and how I would have never stopped smoking had my body not started having reactions. I would have never stopped smoking. I was a pothead. That was it. I was addicted to it. That's what it was. I would have never stopped and there are people who smoke their entire lives. So I would have never stopped. So I think about that. God, I'm trying to wake you up. Here you go. Here's literally a physical situation. Then you got the pill. It's like, remember I'd be like, oh girl, I done took too much, girl, my heart's starting to do weird shit. I will always do that. Same thing with I skipped over Molly. That's why I had stopped Molly for the longest time. Because I was like, I started sleep paralysis and da. So it's like I think about like all of these things. I think the universe and God would have continued pushing the boundary, like, hey, but again, how many boundaries are you gonna get pushed before you
like make a change?
Before you make a change, and or something detrimental happens. Which happens to people all the time. So I do think it would have probably been delayed. Because like you said, you'll never know what could have transpired to trigger.
But then I no longer had you to hang out with as well. And
which is my next point.
So it's like, it's kind of like, it's kind of like when you left first, right? And then, and then some other people, I was still friends with certain people, and then they exited, and then once they exited, then I became close with another friend, and then, not saying that I wasn't close with them already, but closer, like, because you weren't around, so it's like it just came naturally. It was like a natural sequence of events, and learning that these other friends were not really, I won't even call them like not really my friends. It's just they served a purpose in time. They served a purpose in time. It was for a season. But they were not meant to continue with me, which is a hard lesson that I had to learn. Based on certain things that they got going on within themselves or whatever. And the gag is, it's like oftentimes, in all reality, I was made to feel like something was wrong with me, and that I needed to do certain things in order to fit in, and in order to, you needed to conform. I needed to conform to what these people's standards were for me. But the best lesson, one of the greatest lessons that I learned is that I don't have to conform to what anybody says about how I should be living my life and what I should and should not be doing, and so on and so forth. And that's not to be disrespectful, but that's to be factual. Because the thing is, if people are around you that do not want you to be your authentic self because they're afraid of how that may make them look, then they're not meant to be around you. Because they're not loving you for who you actually are. They're loving you for who they want you to be.
And that's the problem.
That's the real gag.
That's it.
And I don't want anybody to love me for what for me falling in line with whatever box that they created for me. I'm who I am. I'm an individual, and I've always been an individual. And that's why I know that's why I know for a fact that I've never fit in. Because I'm not meant to fit in.
And once you realize
I'm the standard.
Once you realize you're the exception.
Exactly.
We're the exception.
People look to us and see what and want to know what we doing and how we're wearing this and how we're and what lingo that we talking about.
And when you really think about it, and I know I can speak for myself, I don't know for you as well, but quiet as it's kept, I've kind of had people say that my entire life.
whether it was subtly or whether it was very, very outspoken.
Think about church, think about school, think about doctor's offices, think about all of these places, random places, but the dots that connect is somebody at some point, at multiple points, saw something.
People been saying you special.
Yeah,
something
about that. You know that. You know Eryc.
Praise dancing at church.
Same.
Praise dancing at church. Literally ending the praise, ending the praise dance. Service ending or whatever, and people walking up to me, maybe visiting from another church, maybe visiting with a church member and stuff like that, and saying, "Young man, like you did your thing up there. You did your thing up there. Like you really gave it." And at times, you know, we rarely got to see each other, like see us on playback or whatever. But there were a few moments that were recorded, and I noticed myself. And I looked at myself on that video, and granted, I'd be doing the same moves as everybody else, but sometimes mine would actually look a bit more like look a bit wilder. And I felt like now when I think about it in hindsight,
that's your boy.
Now I love hindsight. Now when I think about it in hindsight, then I thought, oh, I need to fall more in line with like everybody else, because I'm like some of my moves looking a little extra,
looking like the oddball.
But now when I think about it, and not just now, but it was some years ago, previous to now, that I've thought about this. I think about it. Spirit was moving through me.
Yep.
And that ain't nothing that you can control. That is not anything that you can control. God was speaking through me, through dance, through art. And he continues to do so. I keep spitting, bitch. And he continues to do so. I'm not here by my own accord. There's something within me, and we actually all are gods. We actually have God within us.
Yep.
But it's up to you to tap into that. It's up to you to tap into that, because some people allow other things to consume them, that it hides that God within them. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
That God it is like you're not in a space for me to use you in a way. God still may be covering them, but it's almost like, okay, based on what you're doing, based on how you are as a person and stuff like that, you're not allowing me to work through you. And I feel like that. I honestly feel that way about, you know, a lot of things and a lot of people.
I'm sure. We wear all of these different masks and armor, and I oftentimes say, like, you're not tired. You're not tired. It's not heavy.
Yeah.
It's not heavy.
And it became tired. It became heavy. Excuse me. It became heavy for me.
Like you ain't done yet.
It became heavy for me. That alcohol in itself became heavy for me.
And that's what we were talking about earlier this weekend. The power of choice.
It became heavy.
The power of choice, because all you had to do was make a decision.
That's all I had to do.
That's it.
It seems like it was such an easy concept to grasp, but at the time of making the decision, it felt so hard. Yep. It felt so hard. You remember the call.
Yep.
I know you remember the call.
Yep.
And I said, girl, I think I'm gonna stop. I think I'm gonna stop cold turkey. And I'm literally shaking in my boots in a way, because I'm like, what is it? What is that? Yeah, the New Orleans. The day or two after.
Yeah.
I'm like, what does that look like for me?
Literally don't know. A new normal.
A new normal.
A new normal. And when we go against, because we're such habitual creatures, and this is just down
then when we go against the grain.
We go against the grain, and literally it's spooking our brain.
Yep.
Literally shaking.
Because we like to be comfortable.
That's
and
it.
Stepping outside of that is uncomfortable.
Yes.
But
and it's scary.
It's scary. But the thing is, nothing great really comes from comfortability.
Consistency kills.
You have to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone in order to attain greatness, in order to attain something new, in order to attain something different. That's what you did by moving up here, by moving over here. You tried something new, and the gag is like you took a bet on yourself. You betted on yourself, and that's what you do every time that you decide to do something new in your life. You bet on your fucking self
and watch it work,
because everybody else can have a belief in you, and everybody else can think that you can do it, and everybody else can send you positive affirmations and stuff like that. But until you actually believe that shit for yourself, none of that shit matters. All of that shit is irrelevant. All of that shit is air. It means nothing.
Nothing at all.
Until you act on that shit, and until you believe in your fucking self, it's just a dream.
Yeah. I know it's nothing. It's nothing. It's just that if you can have thoughts all day, you can have brilliant ideas. Faith without work is dead. It's dead, girl. You ain't putting no action behind it. Bye. It could be a great idea all at once.
Exactly.
But now you just reminded me, it's taking a bet on yourself. Because I ain't have no job coming up here. Exactly. I knew I had to end my last job. I had that for like a month. And then I was like, literally, like, I did not have anything planned. I knew I was moving up here and could not continue working remotely. I knew that wasn't going to work out.
Right. But you took a chance. You took a chance.
Without work, interviewing, looking, saying, you know what, something has to give. I got these 4 kids, girl. Some got to shake.
Yeah, I remember that now.
And it should.
Isn't it crazy how it seems so far, how it seems so long ago now? Mm-hmm. But it was your actual reality at some point in time. It was your reality.
And my reality, the universe.
My reality prior to March 15, 2022 was I was a very heavy social drinker. And now you're talking about tomorrow I'm 8 months sober.
Mm-hmm. Would you say you were an alcoholic?
Yeah, and I'll only say it this way. I'll say I was a social alcoholic, because the thing is, and that's not to take away from minimize anybody who deals with whatever.
I just never asked you that before.
Yeah, but the gag is, it's not that for me. It's not that I had to, because I want to make a differentiation. It's not that I had to start my days with liquor. It's not that I had to. Oh, child, I'm going into work and these people finna stress me out. I gotta take a shot or 2 before I go in. I've never been necessarily codependent on liquor. Nonetheless, did I fucking enjoy it? Did I love it? Did I love being drunk? Did I drink to get drunk? Yes. Did I do that in social settings? Did I love me an unlimited brunch with unlimited mimosas and so on and so forth? Absolutely. Did every time that I was going to hang with friends and hang with family and so on and so forth, was I bringing a bottle? Did I used to go around with a bottle in my trunk with chaser, XYZ? Absolutely. So I will call myself a social alcoholic.
And your differentiator is you didn't, like, it's not.
I knew I didn't need it. I knew it wasn't something.
You needed it for social settings.
Yeah. I knew it wasn't
required.
For social settings, but it wasn't a requirement. Personal, like
I wake up in the morning, I gotta have me a shot.
Exactly, but I enjoyed it though.
Yep.
It's kind of like, oh, it's the weekend, bitch. We finna drink. What you mean? We finna have fun. We finna get lit.
And I think that's the.
But I could also. I'm sorry, Eryc.
No,
but I could also go without it, and that's how. Like, I know, like, to a certain degree, like. Well, I know now more than ever, but I know I'm strong-minded. As long, all I gotta do is make a decision and then follow through with execution, and baby, it's a wrap. It's done. That's why it's so easy for me to like take breaks from social media, like some people they be going through withdrawals and stuff like that. I don't experience that. I be just fine. I be like, oh, life feels so peaceful right now. That week that we just had with Raw Vegan, and I decided to break from social media too, in conjunction with that, to maintain my focus. It felt
In other words, you know me, I'm pulling from you.
Gotcha.
Like, boom, no.
It felt so peaceful. It felt so peaceful. Anytime I take a break from social media, I feel more at peace. Because I'm really living life.
Yeah.
I'm going back to... we are hybrids because we lived in an era where there was no social media. There were no cell phones. There was no this. There was no... Really not too much internet, XYZ. And then we migrated into... that
Which
phase.
I think is the worst experience when you think about it. Because
so we have experience of both.
Yeah.
So I won't even call it the worst because granted to a certain degree these things have been beneficial. Look who like with you know dating apps and just social media period.
Compared
and
to
who
the ones that were born into it,
they don't know nothing else different.
They don't know nothing else.
Yeah, you're right in comparison to that. But what I wanted to say is that just that aspect, but us knowing a previous aspect, how we can literally kind of say, I'm gonna turn this shit off, and I'm gonna go outside in nature, and I'm gonna not be on social media for a week or a month or whatever. Literally going back to those days in the 90s in a way, to a certain degree. Of course, you can't fully, you know, go back there. But it's like it's helpful because it recenters you, it grounds you, it allows you to remember that life is way more than this. It's way more than this.
This addiction, baby.
It is. It's a great way to stay connected. That's not to take away from this invention.
But it's not the only way to stay connected.
But it's not the end all and be all.
It seems that way because that's how we've been programmed to.
Exactly.
To believe you can connect in other ways. Maybe go out.
We connect telepathically. We've identified that so many on quite a few occasions.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just thinking, Eryc, I was just thinking about you. That's crazy. You come. I was just thinking about you.
It happens.
I thought you up. Like,
and that is a real thing.
It is. It is. All of this shit ain't via technology. Technology is a great thing, but it has been used against us.
I want to go back to something you said earlier, which was knowing that you're strong-minded. I think that's something I struggle with, and maybe even sometimes don't give myself as much credit.
Okay.
Because, like how you said, like you'll be good without it.
Yeah.
I think we're so easy to revert back to that addictive mindset. Because as you were saying that, I thought about the pill.
Gotcha.
And how addiction in the mind works, even with a negative response. We still attached to I start justifying. Maybe it was, and I took too much in. Because I remember the last time when
when I take it again, I'm gonna just do one.
Yeah. Or this time when I drink, I just gotta make sure I hydrate. Or I never forget.
Drink a little bit more water.
Drink a little bit more water. Your cousin with the glasses, female, she always comes around and supports. She was at your birthday.
Malaya?
Not Malaya. Malaya don't have glasses, right?
Right.
No, your other cousin. Squeaky voice.
My cousin with glasses.
I'm envisioning her with plaques. Maybe she's not. Maybe she's a family friend.
Shamika?
Not Shamika, not her, not the big girl. This is a smaller girl. She always supports.
Fuck.
Hey James, no. She was at your house. She told me she was like drink coconut water. Maybe.
That was Jasmine's friend?
Jazz friend. Okay. Maybe that's what I'm remembering. But I've seen her multiple times.
Yeah,
that's why I think. Okay.
Because she was around. Yeah.
But
I was definitely real cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was another thing. Like, you pick up all of this stuff to justify it. She was like, oh, make sure you drink some coconut water. You drink coconut water, we ain't gonna have no hangover.
Yeah. Oh, and remember what we learned over time. Like, oh, bitch, make sure we got something to eat in our stomach. Make sure we done ate.
And ginger ale, you know, they used to be.
Make sure we done ate. So you start to get around certain things to actually, you know, make it tolerable. Yeah. Make it more tolerable and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh well, bitch, I ate, so it's not gonna be as bad of it, you know.
Right.
It's not. The lick ain't gonna hit me as fast.
And imagine if we put that same energy towards creating. Imagine if we put that same energy towards knocking off our our goals and our ambitions.
It says, may your success offend the shit out of anyone who didn't want to see you win.
And that's just facts are facts. Facts are literally facts. And it's not even from a malicious standpoint.
It's not.
Which there are people that do that. But it's not. I'm just going to shine regardless, and I don't have to dim your light. That's something that I struggled with in the beginning, though, I will say. How we were just having a conversation about competition and like understanding that you don't have to.
We talked about that.
You don't have to dim. You don't have to dim your light. Vice versa. You don't have to dim your light to not offend somebody else, and also you don't have to dim nobody else's light to shine.
Yep. Facts.
You don't have to do that.
But so many people have a different perspective regarding that.
Yeah.
My light has. People have tried to dim my light so many times, and at times they have. At times they've been very successful in it.
Because people fear what they don't understand.
Yep. But no more.
People fear what they don't understand.
I will no longer be inferior to anyone. I will be no one's subordinate. I am who I am. You can either level up, because clearly you feel like you lack something, so you can either level up and literally be on the same frequency as me, or you can stay where you're at, and I'm not going to put up with it.
What they used to say this at middle school, keep it cute or put it on mute. You ever heard that before?
Yeah, exactly.
Keep it cute or put it
And that's all
on mute.
That's just the hood version of, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all.
At all.
But people always feel like they gotta speak on some shit. That's my problem that I had with some of my ex-friends. Y'all always feel like y'all gotta say something about somebody, about me or somebody else. Shut the fuck up sometimes. Allow people to live. Allow people to be who they are.
Like, how is it affecting you?
And why is it bothering you so much?
And
the gag is, if you really wanted to dissect that, if you really wanted to answer that question, unpack that, if you really wanted to answer that question in a genuine way, you then be like, well, maybe there's some shit that I need to work on myself, because I shouldn't feel no type of way that this person is very comfortable with being who they are, very comfortable with being themselves, and doesn't really give a shit. And I wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
But I've gotten there. I've grown to be there. And I had to grow to get there, because had I stayed where I was, how'd I allow people to continue to tell me what I should do?
Where did that get you?
Nowhere. Me
neglecting
myself to try to conform to somebody else's standards has never gotten me anywhere.
Say that.
But it has never led to anything positive. It's only led to more self-destruction.
I was going to say self-destruction, depression,
not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy enough. Self-sabotage. That's what it's led to.
And a saboteur, baby.
Me sacrificing myself to allow for other people's comfort has led to self-sabotage.
And it's not selfish to pour into yourself.
It's not selfish to put yourself first.
It's not.
Because if you don't put yourself first in your life, who the fuck is gonna do it?
It's actually self-full. It's self-full.
And that's why I love what Hines says. Hines says self-love is service. Because the more you pour into yourself, the more you become the best version of yourself, the more that you become a better version of yourself, the more everyone around you benefits. That is, if they're receptive to it.
And one thing Queen Afua said, you heal yourself, you heal the relationships around you.
You heal yourself, you heal the world.
We got moves to make.
Places to be, people to see.
Things to do.
Things to do.
Goals to reach.
Come on. Girl. That was a whole... Girl,
look at that. Girl.
We do that. We does this. It comes naturally. And now a bitch has to pee because a bitch drinks minimum 3 bottles of water a day.
Yeah, my little chlorophyll is getting to me, Joe.
That's good.
Running all through the system.
That is very good.
No, but even think about different this conversation is. And how
That's
our
what I'm
conversations have
saying.
been. I would say we've been
But
different for a while.
I feel like we've always been able to connect verbally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We've always been able to connect verbally, even when it was rooted in trauma.
Even when we didn't agree. Always.
I don't remember a lot of times that we did.
You disagree? Yeah, that's true too.
But you're right. But I just want to let you know I don't like it's like it's blurry.
It's a distant memory.
Yeah. But yeah, we've always been able to connect regardless of what it is. And let me say this now. It is a blessing to have a friend that has been there and been around for all the different seasons.
Yeah.
All the different seasons that you've gone through the trauma seasons, through the not feeling good enough seasons, to the putting up with shit because that's the best that you thought that you could get seasons.
Oh, you know what I'm feeling? Also, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I will also say, I didn't mean to cut you off. You finish.
No. And I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to say this before I forget. Mm-hmm. And for us to have been there as each other's support systems as we've actually grown as people, as we've actually evolved and turned into different variations of ourselves. That's a beautiful thing, and that's not to be minimized. That's not to be taken for granted. Mm-hmm. Because how we met each other is not who we are now.
Completely different.
So let's be clear about it.
What she saying? That's growth. That's growth. Go ahead. But also to finish in each other's sentences, because that's exactly what I was going to say. From thinking about being supportive, let's also shout out not interfering and just being support. Where are we at? 47 minutes.
I want to know if, with your permission, because I have enjoyed this so much, I don't know if people's names were used. I don't think they were, which is a good thing. I want to know if I can have a copy of this, and if I can possibly put this on my YouTube.
Let's do it.
But only with your permission, because I know that this has been your, this has been your safe space. This has been privy to just you and you only, in your phone,
You know what's funny? I manifested that. Not using this video, but you and I recording a video for your YouTube channel while you were up here. And I put that on everything.
What did you say?
It was a thought. That crossed my mind. That you would have, like how you said, like I'm handling business, you got class, you got da. It was a thought that crossed my mind. I was like, oh, he might want to record a video since it's been a while. And wouldn't it be cool if I was like a guest on his show? And
this is essentially essentially what started off as your idea.
Because your people would know.
At this point, this is a collaboration. Eryc, Keir, and James Lamar for the King James version. Y'all forget the sun right now. Thank you, sun. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Thank you, angels. Thank you, ancestors. But the lighting right now is like, whoa.
Oh, the lighting is not. Well, I can't even see the phone, so I'm just gonna eat it up.
So do we want to like wrap it up now so that it can be like less than an hour, I guess?
Yes. So what I will say is, from a supportive standpoint, I also wanted to shout out the fact that we were just that support, whether that's an ear, advice if we needed it,
whether that was money,
right,
whether,
right, not getting in the way of one another, because I've had people who we've been friends with who've gotten upset with me because I didn't respond to certain situations the way they would have.
Yeah.
Have questioned my friendship with you because I'm not responding to situations in the way they feel
You should
was
have responded
necessary
to me.
or appropriate. You're allowing this. You're da 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 da. How is that your... So shout out to that. Shout out to not being those people.
Yeah.
And allowing each other to experience that and grow.
Right. I'm here for it. I'm just grateful. Thank you, God, for this moment.
Full.
Thank you, God, for this.
full.
Thank you, God, for this moment.
Thank you.
Thank you, God, for this moment. And thank you for my best friend.
I love you. And I
The sun is in our eyes right now.
Yes,
I love you too. And yeah, this is going up on my YouTube. So you gonna airdrop this to me, and then we gonna make it do what it do.
Make it do what it do.
The end of this video is gonna be crazy because it's gonna. This sun is shining. Okay.
Yeah, it is. But you think the lighting is good, or you just can't see?
I couldn't see. That's all.
I think the lighting is good, girl.
Okay.
Lift your thing up.
Okay.
I think no, the lighting is good, sweetie.
Okay.
The
Well,
lighting is
it's
good.
all in my eyes. I'm being blinded right now.
Enjoy
But
it.
shout out to everybody. I had fun.